we are here with Thomas Nolan. I'm pretty excited to talk to Thomas. What's up, Thomas? How you doing, man?
Doing good. It's good to see you. It's been a little while.
Yeah, good to see you too. Yeah, Thomas and I were just chatting. We were saying that we crossed paths at the Folsom 100. As I mentioned to him, it was my first 100-miler, so it was a really unique experience. Thomas was just crushing it. He won the race, sub 20 hours. I crossed paths with him a couple of times, dude, and you're just like trucking along. One thing that stood out, like I said, we didn't talk too much during the race. I think we just gave a couple like, "What's up?" good stuff, but you were just like super focused, and you could see a competitive sense, but then you could also like just feel like your positive energy. So that was like one thing I noticed right off the bat from you, and yeah, I'm just really excited just to dive into that. And then just find out a little bit about your background. I know you're from Humboldt County area. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about where you're from, and just, we won't even dive into running yet, just outside of running. What's what Thomas like, just on a day-to-day basis outside of running? What are your passions? What do you do? All that good stuff.
Totally, yeah. Thomas Nolan from Humboldt County, born and raised here. I love it. I always tell people, if you like to do anything outdoors, you can never be bored here. There's always something to do. And if you are bored, it's probably your own fault, because you could just go outside and have fun. But I used to work for the Forest Service as a wildland firefighter, and
Sweet.
eventually wanted to get into law enforcement, got into law enforcement, quickly realized I did not want to go that path. I wanted to go back to working outside. And that's kind of where I found my love for ultra running. Like, I quit what I thought would be my dream job, was unemployed for the first time in my life, and kind of just started long distance running at that point, and took it from there and kept on going. But on a day-to-day basis, I love to do anything outside, whether it's hunting, fishing, backpacking, hiking, surfing, anything and all the above. If it's outside, you can count me in to go do it.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, you're right there, right near the coast. Beautiful stretch of coast, by the way, up there. I've been up there. And then just beautiful redwoods. I'm sure beautiful terrain, just like a playground of whatever you want to do, whether it's hunting, whether it's, just getting lost in the trails like you do pretty often. That's an awesome area to be. Any recommendations? I definitely want to do some like camping, trail running. Any recommendations on where to do that up there? Any specific spots, maybe?
Totally.
Campgrounds?
Yeah, I feel super fortunate. I work in a partnership with the national parks and state parks. So I get to work up in Redwood National and State Park every day, all week long, all year long. So if you're like looking for a great redwood experience, like, I highly recommend Prairie Creek area.
Prairie Creek
Canyon and all the trails associated with that. You could just get lost in these big old growth redwoods, and it's pretty spectacular. And most of the trails pop you out all the way to the beach. So you can kind of see like this wide variety of environments throughout your trip.
Nice. Yeah, I think I saw on Instagram too. Didn't you and a group of buddies just start from your hometown and then go up to like Oregon on a little trek recently?
Yeah, exactly. We had 6 of us. 2 of us had done 100 miles before or above. 3 of them had never ran past, or one of them had never ran past a marathon, and 2 of them had never ran past a 50K. And we ran from this town called Arcata all the way up the coast to the Oregon border, and it was 108 miles, and everybody did great. It was a super fun experience. It was just the right crew of people. There wasn't one complaint that happened the whole way. We were running in probably the worst weather of the year, just complete downpours for the whole second day.
Wow.
And it was a crazy experience, and I wanted to have done it, but it was awesome.
That's cool. How long did it take you guys to get up there?
So we had one goal of finishing it, right? So we stopped at the mile, I think it was like mile 7-ish, and got a hotel room for a little while.
Cool. Yeah.
That some of the folks got some little bit of sleep. We ate some food, and then we kept trucking. It took us 37 hours.
That's cool. I mean, with a lot of newbies out there too, I bet it's just the ultimate, probably for you, just like a gratifying experience, just like helping these people achieve new goals and just like pushing along, especially like when you add elements such as like the weather and I'm sure other factors that you saw along the way. It has to be pretty rewarding. I don't know what would your take on that be?
No, that's exactly right. That's honestly like one of my biggest things in life is just like watching people crush these super hard goals. Like one of the kids, for instance, or one of the guys was like probably a month ago, he was like, I think it'll probably be like 5 years until I run my first 100 miler, right?
Yeah.
And he is a local student at the local college. And he came up to us when he heard what we were doing. And essentially, he was like, just wanted to go, you know? And this was like a month ago. And now here he is. He just completed his first 100 mile and
Yeah.
wasn't anywhere near close to 5 years before he did it. Just went out and did it because he wanted to do it, you know?
That's awesome, man. So tell us about, like, in that Arcata, Humboldt County area, tell us about just like the running community or the trail running community in general. It seems like it's a pretty cool scene out there. And you obviously have a big influence on that. Just tell us a little bit what that's like.
Yeah, we definitely have a pretty big running community here. I wouldn't say so much that there's a ton of ultra runners, but over the past couple of years, it's growing more and more, and people are like finding the love for the long distance. Unfortunately, we do not have any ultra marathon races in our area, so we have to travel everywhere to do it, or just go out and do our own fun runs. But it's cool to see like the community start to build back up, and you hear all the stories of when like the running boom was going on back in the day, and there was a ton of amazing athletes, just a ton of runners in our area. So it's cool to see that.
Yeah, I feel like that running boom's like coming back in a sense right now. I feel like we're riding a little wave of that, and it's cool, just like, especially here in California, just to seeing like different parts. Of course, like you have your populated areas out in the Bay Area and parts of Northern California, Southern California, but it's good to really see where people are at near you, where you guys have like beautiful landscape and a perfect playground just to go explore. So that's super awesome, man.
Yeah, we have some of the most amazing folks here.
So yeah, man, the running community out in your area is pretty sick. Beautiful landscape. And then I know that you guys have a little running club that you guys got out there, right? You want to tell a little bit about that?
Yeah, totally. So we had a bet, I guess it would have been last summer, about if me and my good buddy West, if we went first and second at an ultra marathon, we would get a tattoo, and we had no clue what it would be. Well, needless to say, we finally did it, and we ended up getting these raccoon tattoos. And a couple months later, we started talking about like running groups and clubs and whatnot. So we started this run club called Raccoon Run Club in January. So it's almost been a full year, and it's just been super special. We meet up every Monday, 6:30 p.m., and we do a 5-mile loop. And to see like all these folks come out, we encourage everybody, like all paces are welcome. You'll never run by yourself. And it's been super cool to see people progress through, one, get better with running, one, or next, like just out running, in general. And you've seen all these connections form throughout the year. And it's just been super special to be able to put these people in a place where they can come and work out on a Monday night, run through the forest. We do it any weather, anytime. And it's just super special.
That's cool, man. That's awesome to hear that. I mean, the run clubs are popping up all over the place, but it seems like, again, in your area, that just seems like an ideal location, and there's a story behind it. That's awesome. Raccoon Run Club, man. I love that. So let's talk a little bit about you and your running. I kind of looked at Ultra Sign Up. It looks like you've been getting after it like pretty hardcore since 2019. How did, just running long distances and all of a sudden stacking all these big races, how did that come about? I know you talked a tiny bit about it when we got started, but if you want to dive a little bit deeper about how that story goes.
Yeah, so I mentioned how I quit what I thought would be my dream job, and I was coming up on my 25th birthday. So I'll do a little backstory. Like growing up, I had ran like a half marathon when I was super young. I was a sprinter all throughout like middle school and high school. I would run the 200 meter, the 400 meter. And if you asked me to run a mile, I would tell you there's no way. I don't want to do that. It's too far. But it was the night before my 25th birthday, and I was just hanging out with some friends and family. And I think I just kind of started running my mouth and said, I'm going to go run 25 miles tomorrow for my 25th birthday. I had no clue what I was getting into. I went out the next day, like mildly hungover, ran 27 miles and couldn't walk for a couple weeks. I ran it in like these flat shoes, and it just hurt really bad. And another week or two went by. I was still unemployed at the time. And I was like, well, that was kind of fun. Like, I wonder what 30 miles feels like,
Yeah.
I went out and just started like climbing this ladder, and eventually I did like a 64-mile run just through my hometown and around the area. And I had no clue what Strava was. I didn't know what any of that stuff was. And eventually I signed up for a marathon down in the Marin Headlands and convinced my friend to go down there with me. It was a trail marathon, and we learned what Strava was. We kind of learned like what ultras were, and just like talking with people got me super fired up to start trying these things, you know?
Yeah.
And I just like fell in love with like how it felt to go run these distances, and the people that were at these events was just super.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, definitely a really unique community. And just like, yeah, I don't even know why. I remember running my first 100K and I was just like, dude, I'm never doing this again. And then, but like 2 days later, you just recover a little bit. You're like, there's like a shot of adrenaline. You're like, okay, what's the next? What's the next goal? Let's go. Where could I go next? What could I adventure? There's just so many different just experiences that you just experience within a race. And I actually want to talk to you about that when we get to your 200-miler stuff. But I mean, within like a short time span, we'll call it, 5-6 years, you ran multiple 100-milers, multiple 50-milers, multiple 50Ks, multiple ultra backyard kind of timed events where you could see how far you could go within a certain time frame. So, I mean, is there any stopping you, or do you just plan on just keep it on trucking pretty much?
Yeah, I'm really curious. Obviously, I want to do 200s again, but here in 3 weeks, I'm going to try just a supported 330-mile route for my 30 day from.
Oh, nice.
I'm talking to you from right now up in Humboldt County, and I'm going to finish on the south side of the Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh, dope, dude. Yeah, I would love to see your route. Maybe just, check in with your Reddit section with you along the way. That'd be sick.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll send you the live tracker, but it's a super simple route. Unfortunately, it's all highway. So I'm going to run highway.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to take highway 1 along the coast all the way down. So
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I never do anything like that. When I was 30, I ran 30 miles for my 30th, and then I turned 40 last year, so I ran 40 miles. And I think I'm going to do 41 this year because I'll be training for stuff. So I just do the years. I don't go like you're doing. That's beastly, dude. Congrats on that, and good luck with that. So let's jump into it. You're just like you like I said, you've done a ton of 100-milers. You jumped into the 200-miler. It may have been your second attempt at Tahoe 200 from what I see. I mean, for people that don't know, Tahoe 200 is a premier event when you're going beyond 100 miles. You have Cocodona, Moab, 250, 240 that are right in that mix. So yeah, tell us about just that. I know there's a lot of ways to go, but just tell us initially in a box, what was that experience like, and why did you decide to go back and just tackle that distance in general?
Yeah, super fun event, super great course, amazing people as always. But yeah, I tried Tahoe in 2023, and for a multitude of reasons, I did not finish. I got my first DNF, which really at first.
Dude, come on, running 200 miles, you need to kill that. I was kidding.
Yeah, and the only and it was from the moment I DNF'd to the time I finished it in 2024. I just called it like the redemption year.
Nice.
Went like hog wild, ran a bunch of miles, put in a bunch of work. And I think, a big reason I DNF'd in 2023 was just something I think a lot of ultra runners deal with, of like making an irrational decision in a time of uncertainty, right? So like now with the knowledge I've learned in the last year, I think I could go back to that exact same situation as to where I stopped and be able to work through my problems, find solutions for them, and be able to continue. But needless to say, we came back in 2024 with one goal in mind: finish the thing that we started the year prior. I had an amazing crew, and it was honestly like one of my favorite races to date. It was just super fun and super hard, and I learned so much from it. So, but the DNF in 2023 taught me just as much as finishing it in 2024.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty gnarly course. One, it's beautiful. I've ran like little sections of it for little training runs, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure the landscape was absolutely breathtaking. And, you're climbing, almost 37, 38 1,000 feet in vertical gain. So yeah, dude, that's pretty beastly. How did the elevation get to you? Did that impact you at all?
Yeah, so I live, I probably am sitting at like 50 feet elevation right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think that was a factor in 2023, but in 2024, I showed up 9 days early, and I took all of my vacation time from work, and I convinced my brother, who's an ultra runner as well, to come to Tahoe with me early, and we would go camp out as high as we possibly could. We were hiking the ski resorts. We were sleeping at like 9,000 feet almost every night. And it was just like a last minute training block of trying to do everything possible to like not even have to worry about altitude sickness. And a big problem for me is, one, I think I just get super nervous before a big event like that. But I also like just have trouble eating during races. That's like a big issue for me. So
Yeah.
in 2023, I found myself throwing up before like the 10-mile marker. And the same thing happened in 2024. I was at damn near the same spot, like mile 7. And here I am just throwing up all over the side of the trail. And
shit.
I think the big learning lesson was like, okay, like we're just going to reset. We throw up, we feel better, and we're going to eat every bit of food in our vest, and we're going to go restart eating all of our food at the next aid station and go from there. Like it's an opportunity for a solution, the way I look at it.
What did you find? What type of food like settled well with you? What was keeping you going?
It honestly, nothing settled that whole 80 hours of pushing through.
Oh shit.
I ate a lot of Snickers bars, mangoes. I had soft tacos from Taco Bell. And actually the best thing I think I had the whole time was root beer floats.
Nice. Dude, I would throw up.
Oh, they were amazing.
Oh, they were? Okay, cool. Yeah, dairy. I mean, I love dairy stuff, but sometimes it just like, especially when going far, I feel like it would not settle with me.
Yeah. For whatever reason, nothing really ever settles with my stomach. But I can remember one moment. I think we were at like it was probably like 170-ish. So we're coming, the final night is over. We know we're going to finish like today. And I ate more food than I had probably ate in the last day. And I stand up from the aid station, and me and my pacer start walking away from the aid station. And I just started throwing up all over the place. And I had been dreading this last climb. I forget what it's called, but it was just a hell of a way to start the last day. And it was an amazing experience. And I highly recommend it to anybody wanting to sign up for a 200. Like, I never thought I'd be ready for it, but here we are, and we did it. And I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, just like going through that. I mean, I guess you would consider those a little bit lows, but is there any like memorable, just low or super sketchy time? I'm sure there was a few, but anything that sticks out where you're like, oh shit, like I don't know if I'm going to get through this, mostly on your most recent Tahoe 200. I don't know if I'm going to get through this, but then you just kind of got through it somehow. Could you recall any of those?
Yeah, there was like, so the spot where I DNF'd in 2023 was like a big thought in my mind for that whole year coming up to it, So I strategically placed it so I could have the same pacer I had in 2023 come with me in 2024 through that section. So
Where was that at? What section was that, if you don't mind?
That was coming up through Marlette Lake. So going from Spooner Summit and then dropping into, I believe it's called Incline Village.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And to like be able to go through that was like a super big high. But then the next night it was followed by like a super big low of like, holy shit, we're back in the unknown. Like what's going to go on here? And I think just lack of food really got to me. And it all caught up at one point on the last day where we were coming back over that spot through Marlette Lake. And I just had these absolute wild, vivid hallucinations of sea turtles. And like the sea turtle off of Finding Nemo was just like all these big rocks turned into turtles, and they were giving me like little fin slap high fives. But I think
that might have been cool. Wow, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, there's a pretty cool video my pacer has of me just looking absolutely ragged. And I'm like pulling up a video of Finding Nemo to show him like what I'm looking at. He's just laughing.
Damn. And then you ended up kind of just bouncing out of that. What did you do? Like get a little tiny bit of sleep, or how did you get through that?
It kind of just disappeared. But to make it even crazier is like, so my friend Katie is like an all-star nurse down in the Bay Area. Absolutely amazing pacer, great friend. I actually met her at my first 100-miler. And
Cool.
so I put her as my final pacer to take me all the way to the finish line. So I thought it would be like this super great experience as to where we chatting it up, having a good time, and finish this thing. Well, I was just in such a low that I didn't even know where I was, and I was like coming from like a fire background,
Yeah.
like knew I was in a bad place, but really didn't know what was going on. And we hadn't talked the whole entire section, and all of a sudden she just hears on my phone, I called 911, and she just hears 911, what's your emergency? And she just like freaks out on me and like, why are you calling 911? You're fine. And like we had like this big debate, and she had to like talk to the sheriff on the phone and be like, I'm a nurse, he's running a race, he's fine, he's gonna finish. It was just a big shit show at the end.
Well, thanks to Katie, because maybe you might not have finished or she didn't talk to them. So that's crazy.
It was crazy. It was just like, it was I would ever want from the experience, you know?
Yeah. And then I saw some of your pictures too, like when you finished, like those pictures, like they say pictures are worth 1,000 words. Like, of course, I don't even know what that's like, but dude, those pictures were pretty badass. And you could just see it like as the expression on your face. You just look like you gave everything you had and you're so happy to be across that finish line. Could you just describe that feeling and just like, what that meant to you?
Yeah, honestly, I get goosebumps talking about it. And like last night, I just happened to I like found a video that I hadn't even seen from the experience, and it's me. It's actually a video like my mom took. That my whole family came and checked it out at the finish, and down the final hill, just like giving every one of my crew members a hug and like waving them on to come finish it with me, and it was just a surreal experience to like finally get it done after like this. I wouldn't say it was like dreaded, but it had been bugging me the whole entire year, knowing that and knowing that I should have done things a little different. So when the final moments came and I actually did cross that line, it was pretty freaking special for me.
Yeah,
that's high up on the list of like accomplishments in my life.
That's amazing. I couldn't even imagine. Yeah, those pictures were just super. Some of the coolest like finish line pictures I think I've ever seen. So yeah, dude, that hang that somewhere. I'm sure you probably do. Like those are sick. Would you tackle that race again? Do you think it's anything you would want to go back to?
I will definitely do it again when they bring back the original course of the full loop. But okay. I have 4 friends. 3 of my crew from last year are doing it in 2025. So I'm 100% obligated to go return the favor and help them out any way possible and get them to the finish line.
Nice. Yeah, that's cool. How about for you for 2025? What any key races that you're looking to participate in?
Yeah, so right now, I don't know, have you heard of the Speed Project?
Yeah, actually I have. Tell us a little bit about that.
So it's just a cool race from LA to Las Vegas with a bunch of awesome people. And I'm looking to go do that here early in the year. And I'm
nice.
But it's another big 300-ish mile event. And I just want to go push myself to a new extreme and see what happens and meet some absolutely amazing people. So
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so that's kind of the key one that you're doing, and after that you're just relaxing for a bit, or just kind of taking it as it comes.
We'll see where it goes, but there's a couple. I don't know how many like sanctioned races I'll do this year, but I definitely want to go out and do some crazy like FKT routes. Like we have some super special stuff here on the coast, and a lot of people have done it one way, but nobody's ever done some of these big out and backs. So I'll try to do some of those and just push myself to a new extreme. And a big thing for me is just like getting new people into the sport. So I want to go help as many people as possible go to their first races, pace them, crew them, and just like introduce them to like how amazing it is and just see what they can do. Because I know once they do it, they'll fall in love with it, just like all the rest of us do.
Yep. I love that, man. So that's a good segue. So you're doing some race directing. The Lake Sonoma 100-mile Sufferfest. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Dude, I like that logo is pretty badass. I want that sticker, dude. I want to put it in my fridge in my garage.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So tell us a little bit about how that came about. I know there's some pretty big names that founded that race, and you're one of the race directors, and are kind of helping build this new race that's on the scene. Could you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so Lake Sonoma is really well known for all of the races that happens down 50 mile, the 100K marathon, the winter half, like super special place to run. Trails. Last year during Lake Sonoma, like a couple months prior to the event, a couple of us were wondering how it would feel to double it and turn it into a 100-miler.
Yeah.
So showed up the night before the 50-miler started. We ran the 50-mile course that night with just enough time to come back to the start line and start the 50-mile race with the real event, and then turn it into a makeshift 100. And we all loved it so much that we figured we should invite all of our friends and everybody we know to come do a real 100-mile event at Lake Sonoma. So we came up with Lake Sonoma 100-mile Sufferfest, and it's got 27,000 feet of vert, which is super cool for west coast, not too far from the ocean race. So it's going to be super special to see everybody come out and experience what we did. It's probably going to be super tough. It's in winter, so it's February 1st, 2025. We've got like 50 spots left open for the 100-miler, but we also have a 100-mile relay and a 50-mile relay, and we're trying to get as many run clubs or just groups of friends to come out and sign up for that to be able to experience the course and the area as well.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. And then I also read that, are you guys doing like a mini, like little kind of mini backyard ultra type deal there for just like locally within just right near the finish line or something like that? I think that's pretty cool as well.
Exactly. Just a way for crews and families and everybody. Yeah. That's, you know how long it takes for a runner to get to an aid station at a time. So we're going to have it's going to be kind of like a little festival like atmosphere at the start finish line. It's a big area that the runners come to a couple times. So we'll be.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome, man. So jumping into just to wrap things up here, I think you kind of encapsulated it, but do you just want to tell us a little bit about what running means to you, and just like anything that you want to, positive energy, positive words of encouragement that you just want to spread to the people that are kind of just getting into the sport and, trying to push new barriers?
Yeah, I think like running for me is just an opportunity for a bunch of clarity. We all have so much going on in our lives, our work lives, our personal lives, our day-to-day stuff, that when you go out and you have the opportunity to just you're literally just going to go run for an X amount of time. And there's just so much joy that comes from it. I don't about my pace. I don't ever worry about my distance. I just go out there and have fun on my feet for a couple hours, and just enjoy it with what it is. And I find so much clarity in all of that I can't imagine myself ever going out and doing anything else. But I think a big thing I like to remind people is all of these events we're talking about, whether it's your first 5K all the way up to your first 200, is they are so doable. It's not unobtainable for anybody to go do this. I truly believe that anybody can go do these things. You just have to ask yourself, is this something I really want to do? And if it's something you really want to do, there's no doubt in my mind you can go do it. It takes time.
Perfect. Yeah, those are amazing words. I think just people just having the realization and belief and clarity, like you said, is definitely goes a long way. So yeah, Thomas, man, I appreciate you taking the time. It was great to get to know you a little bit better, and look forward to getting to know you even more, hopefully at some of these events. Maybe I'll stop by at Sufferfest just to see what's going on, maybe camp for the night and help out, volunteer, if you guys need any help with anything. So
that would be awesome. We would love to have it out there. You can check it. And anybody else listening, you can check it out on Ultra Sign Up. We're going to have registration open for a little bit longer. Love to have everybody there. So it's going to be a fun event. But just one last reminder is when you're out there running and you're having an issue during a race, I like to tell people there's no such thing as problems out here, just opportunities for solutions. So set yourself up for success and have tools in the toolbox so you can fix these things and you can keep going. You're going to do great. Have a positive mindset. fire up everybody around you, tell them they're doing an amazing freaking job, because they are, and just go like do cool things, meet new people, and keep crushing those miles, and you're going to do great. Everybody in this sport is amazing. There's never been anybody I've met that's like a bad person, and it's just a community that everybody should be a part of because it's that great.
100% agree, man. Hey, thanks for that. Yeah, I don't know what a better way to end than that. So we'll talk soon, Thomas. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks for having me.